Hey everyone, it's Tyranny, and today I'm going to be doing an advice video for all of you people who are going to be applying for scholarships and things like that for your senior year. And this was a requested video from one of my subscribers, and this video is a advice video for the Gates Millennium Scholarship. So I have thought about it and put together different notes that I would give for someone who wanted to apply, and things that my mentor told me. I had one mentor who was a Gates Millennium Scholar, and then I did a lot of research on Google, the Gates website, and YouTube. And so the first step that I would say to even get you prepared for the work that applying for the Gates Millennium Scholarship takes is just to accept the challenge, because this scholarship is not a regular scholarship. It's not as simple as applying for a regular scholarship would be, because you can't half do it. You have to put your whole heart into it. You can't just kind of do some of it to the best of your abilities and then kind of slack off on the rest. You have to realize that thousands of students are applying for this scholarship, and only 1,000 can get the scholarship. So and it's way more than a scholarship. That is just a life-changing. It's a blessing. It's going to help you. This is something that you can look back on for the rest of your life and just be thankful for. So first you have to accept the challenge and put your heart into it, because you cannot have to if you expect it to win. And you have to have a positive outlook on it, but then you have to still realize that it is a huge, major scholarship, and a lot of students do apply. But the way that I got through with applying for it is just I had a big support system. Like my family, everybody knew about this scholarship. I never stopped talking about it. My mentors helped me. You have people to read essays and things like that, but I'll get to it later in the video. So accept the challenge. My second tip would be to assign a nominator and recommender right when you know that you're going to apply for the Gates Millennium Scholarship, because without a nominator or a recommender, you won't be able to apply for the scholarship, because they're the people who help you. Using a nominator and a recommender, I would say to choose someone who you trust and someone who can write a lot about you, because you want someone who knows you as a student, who knows you as a person, and who is aware of your abilities and what you can do in the classroom and what you just bring to the classroom, and that you put forth your best effort possible. So when I chose and for your nominator and recommender, it can be the same person, but for me, I did a teacher and a counselor. One was my U.S. history teacher, who I was an amazing student in his class, and I put forth my best foot. And for my counselor, I was very close to her, because I asked her a lot about a lot of advice for college and scholarships and things like that. And she had known me since my freshman year to my senior year, so she was a get picked. So if you have someone like that, try to choose that person to be your nominator or recommender. Another thing is choose someone who you know will complete the process, like someone who's rooting for you, who wants you to do well, and who knows how important this is for you, because you need them to finish their part as well as you finishing your own part too. So choose someone who you know is going to complete filling out the forms. Something else is check up with your recommender or nominator every 1 to 2 weeks. Just kind of remind them so they can remember that they're filling this out for you, because you're not the only person who they're writing recommendations for, and this is a huge recommendation. So you want to just make sure that they're trying, logging in to the website, typing up their paragraphs, whatever they have to do, and you want to just make sure that they're completing their part as well. But just also keep in mind that they have a lot on their plate too, so it can be easy to forget about it. Another thing would be, do not assign your nominator and recommender last minute, because they are essential to applying to the scholarship, and you don't want them to half do it either. You don't want them to just write 2 sentences about you. You want them to be able to put a lot of thought into it, and actually allow the person, whoever is reviewing your application, I don't really know how that part goes, but you want them to be able to take a little bit from it, and feel like whenever they finish reading it, feel like they know you as good as those people know you too. So you want them to be able to take their time on it. Number 3, after you do all that, begin to fill out the application, because although the essays are a large part of the application, the application in itself is as well, the filling out your activities, family financial information, your hobbies, your work, things like that. When I filled out mine, although people might have thought it was a small portion of the application, I was very thorough. Did it, and like I wrote some stuff down, and like before I actually started filling it out, and then I went in and I wrote I typed up what I thought, what I wrote down on the paper, and then after that I went back through it and I edited it. And like I don't know, I went through those at least 5 times at the very least. Like I went through and edited, and not on the same day, like on different occasions when I would in between writing essays, just to give me something else to do besides looking at essays, because my application was the very first thing that I filled out. However, like when I got tired of doing that, I would start to write an essay. Another thing is, besides being very thorough with that, do not leave out anything. Anything you can think of, anything that you've done, make sure you put it into the essay. Also, I forgot to mention volunteering, because volunteering is a very it's a big part of it. And something I would say that helped me was that I was a pretty well-rounded student. I mean, I am a pretty well-rounded student. I volunteered, I worked, I had hobbies, I was in a lot of different organizations at school, and things like that. So, and that's just how I am, and that's what I learned. That's how I learned to be with student council. So I would hope that if you're a part of organizations, they would help you to basically become a better person and get more involved with other people's lives other than your own. So be very thorough. Do not leave out anything. And have a resume. If you have not created a resume, you're going to need them for scholarships anyways. So have a resume so that you can follow it. And it'll be a lot easier to fill out the application, because those are the things that you are basically putting into the application. It's just it's a much longer process, and you're more thorough than you would be on a resume. Number 4. This is like, oh my gosh, this was the biggest part of the hardest part of the scholarship for me, was filling out the essays, starting the essays really, because once you start your essay, it's not that bad. Once you start the essays, you'll be okay, but you just have to start it. That's the main part for that. And then create multiple rough drafts of one essay. The way I did it, like I would write like an essay, and then I would go through it, and when I write essays, I write on paper. I don't just type them up on the computer. So I would write the essay, and then I would go through it and correct my essay, and then I would type it up. So I would have a rough draft of the essay, and then I would go through it another day and correct it. Then I'll have other people read it. Like for me, my essays, people at my job have read my essays. Like my coworkers, I have them edit it, or just read it and give me feedback of things I could do to improve it. I had teachers read my essays. I had my peers read my essays, and my family. So everyone had read them and gave me feedback and edited them. And also, what else? Start with the topic that is the easiest for you. Like there's eight essays and 9. There's a 9th one. I believe, I forgot what the 9th one is for, but there's 8 essays, and I started with the topic that was easiest for me. I believe the first essay I wrote was it was like, describe a subject that you excel in, and why do you excel in it. I started with that one because I don't know, it just seemed like the best, the one to help me get my foot off the ground. So that's what I started with. Another thing is to edit your rough drafts over and over, like I already said. And another thing is to have your friends read it to give you feedback. Have a teacher read it, especially like an English teacher, because you don't want to have any simple grammatical mistakes that you could have caught. Because when I was editing my essays, of course, no one is perfect, but I tried to get them just the best that they could. I tried to make sure that my sentences flowed together, that there were no grammatical mistakes, and that just everything was put together nicely. And a lot of my essays, like the words range from like 700 to like 900 something words. I tried to use all of my space for my essays because I wanted my reader to know that I had a story to tell, and I wasn't going to just use half of the word limit to tell them that because I had a lot to say, and I wanted them to be able to dive into my life as much as possible and put it all on paper. So I feel like they gave you a word limit of 1,000 for a reason. So just kind of tell the reader as much as you can without like, stretching out everything, but just telling them everything that you need to tell them, and without being repetitive as well, kind of. You get what I'm saying? Look at all your edits, to look at all the advice that you've been given, and to put it into your essay to the best of your abilities, and then read it, and then reread the essay after you've corrected it, and then read the advice they give you, and make sure that you didn't make a lot of the same mistakes, and then have them read again. So you have to have, I don't know, I had a team of very they're very understanding and read my essays when I asked them to, because they knew how important it was for me. So make sure if you're asking people to read your essays, make sure they know that it's not a joke and you're very serious about what you're doing and you actually need their honest feedback. Okay. Another thing. That's pretty much about on essays, as far as like my advice goes. But when I needed, I don't know, at some points I need inspiration, because like I said, it is a very long process. And look up a guy named Derrius Quarles. He has a essay. What did he do? It was like a summit thing that he did for the people who lived in his city, and he was very helpful, because at first my essays, I was trying to, I don't use big words like using a thesaurus. Like, I mean, you can, but that's how you talk with your everyday life. Like, but don't like just Google all kinds of big words and place them into your essay. You want it to be able to tell a story, not just like a, I don't know what I'm saying, but you get what I'm saying. You don't want to use all these big words and not have, and by the time the reader finishes, not have anything out of your essay. So what I got from him when I looked at his summit was just to tell your story, and don't be afraid to share your details. So Derrius Quarles, his name is spelled spelled different. So I'll type it up in my description box and maybe put a link. Could I put a link to his video, or put a link to his video so you can see what I was talking about, because he inspired me a lot. So yeah. Next was 5. How to. I already went into that. I was gonna say how to write your Gates essays. Not how to, but just advice for what I did that I thought might have helped me. Tell your story. Oh, and make sure the reader can hear your voice. Like, make sure they can, make sure they can hear you whenever they read it. Although this person has never met you, make sure they can kind of see what you're like hear your voice in your essays, because we all have a different writing style. So make sure they can just understand you and what you've been through, because I think a lot Gates is about the academics, but it's also about your story and how you've prospered over what you've been through and your life situation. Allow them to get to know you and take a step into your world. Be open. And my last thing is, do not be ashamed of what you've been through in your life, and don't be afraid to share it with them, because you want them to know why you're different from other people. Why should you be a Gates Scholar out of the other thousands of students that apply? What makes you so special? And besides the fact that you're smart. So that's what I think about that. And show them how what you've been through has helped you to become the person that you are today. That's what I did in a lot of my stories and a lot of my essays. So I hope this has been helpful to you. And if you have any more questions about applying to scholarships or applying to the Gates Millennium Scholarship, I don't work on the application board, of course. I'm just a Gates Scholar, but not just a Gates Scholar. How can you even say that in the same sentence? But I'm a Gates Scholar, and I just know what I've been through from my experience of doing of applying to the Gates Scholarship. So I hope this will be helpful for you. And if you have any more questions, feel free to ask me. And that's about it. I hope to hear from you all. And if you are applying to the Gates Scholarship, let me know, and I'll be more than willing to help you look at your essays, any type of thing like that. So let me know, and we can correspond through email and things like that. So I hope everything's going well. And if you are applying to the Gates Scholarship this year, the application has opened. Bye, everyone.